Oh, hey, folks, dude here. Coming to you on an episode of Dude After Dark. Talking to you today, and this is going to be an edition of Dude After Dark. Rich just lost internet edition. Supposedly, his storm activity is such that it just hammered his stuff. I mean, his internet service is now completely, absolutely, and surely foobar. Abram, appreciate you coming by, dude. If you could post up something on my Facebook page, basically saying that I'm on YouTube, and maybe cut and paste the link, I would appreciate it. I'll definitely enable that to have happen. But I'm actually utilizing my laptop as opposed to my home computer. That way, I can actually go back and forth, and of course, the laptop is a newer / faster / newer, better, bestest laptop computer. Hopefully it's up to snuff and it's going to do what it's got to do. And I have two laser mice, IR, whatever. But anyway, das ist gut, ja. Das ist gut, ja. Ja. Bitte, sehr bitte. Anyway, so way, shape, and form, I'm now looking at stuff. And I have been reminding myself, because usually what I'll do is I'll find news stories and I'll just bam, just light them all up on Facebook, and I'll put them all up on Facebook, and no uncertain terms, keeping it somewhat charitable. On Twitter, though, I don't really care. I will cuss like a Navy guy who just got completely wrecked on shore, and he's now coming back on boat, and he's 3 sheets to the wind, and he really doesn't care who he offends because he really just doesn't care. I will be more pejorative on Twitter because I really don't care. The only downside is, of course, that I really don't get a lot of draw on Twitter. Every once in a blue moon, I might have one of my followers like something, but it's really not a popular thing. Unfortunately, also because YouTube is YouTube, they've also now made things not the easiest thing of which to utilize also on YouTube. I mean, I've basically been looking at my AdSense, and it has been crawling, and I do mean crawling. And so way, shape, and form now, as I'm currently looking at, trying to get these things and trying to make them happen. And hang on a second here. Let me do this real simple, stupid, and easy. I got one of my friends asking how's he watch the podcast. Hang on a second here. If you hear a little bit of me talking to myself, that's what it is. So anyway, let me let him know, because that's one of those things that's kind of nice is you can do this. And so there you go. So I just threw him a link. Abram, appreciate that, man. So I'm now up on hopefully Facebook seeing things. And of course, I'm now looking at 18, 19 days, whatever it is. So anyway, he now knows on Facebook, and I'm going back and forth. So let me get back out of Facebook and jump over to Twitter. And I have been absolutely hammering those guys on the other side of the aisle. There's been all kinds of hilarious stuff going on now. Right off the bat, I think this is just absolutely epic. Is supposedly, of all people, Joe Biden, is now referring to Donald John Trump as Tweety. Okay, well, you can ask anybody in the business, and they'll tell you, yes, Donald Trump tweets like freaking crazy. Like, he is all the time on Twitter, and he's all the time posting stuff up, and that's pretty much what he does. That's literally what he does. Now, is it really a defining thing to say that, oh yeah, well, he's posting these things up on Twitter, he's overdoing it? I tend to think that sometimes Trump goes a little crazy with the tweets, and that's just me. Abrams says he might have caught the Rona or a 3-day hangover. Well, there is some subjective things that people have said if you do contract Corona. I do know that mostly what it is obviously it's weird stuff like, change in taste. There's of course, like your classic flu symptoms. But there's a couple things that pretty much they could say right off the bat is obviously your temperature is elevated. They're always checking your temperature. But this is pulling back the curtain a little bit, and I'll get into this in a little while, but I basically went to the doctor today to get, my after wrench on checkup. And, of course, the doc complained to me and tell me things that I need to have tweaked, tuned, and things that I need to address, things I don't need to address, and things I probably should be doing differently. And, of course, 12 weeks or something like that after surgery, we're now looking at, like, what does he need to adjust in terms of my medications? Because I am now a heart patient with high blood pressure. Now, is my blood pressure exceedingly high? No, but 140 over 90, they're like, that's a little bit much. We want to get it down to like the 120s. And, so it's like borderline. And my numbers have always been borderline. It's not been like, oh man, your numbers are horrible, you're this, you're that. It's like, like your classic one. Well, your LDL should be no more than 420. My LDL would be like 432 or something. It's like 7 points out, 6 points out. I'm like on the cusp of all these things. Well, I'm also now on, besides the blood pressure medication, I'm also on blood thinners. They'll address that, switch it out, and of course tail that off as they need to. But for life, literally for life now, I will be taking blood pressure meds. I'll be taking a baby aspirin to keep, clots from happening and all that new plumbing that they put in place. And obviously I'll be on a statin to keep my cholesterol from basically bunching up and plugging up all those new pipelines that they put in place. Now, the doc did look at my blood test, and they actually tapped me, about a week or so ago. And actually pretty good phlebotomist. They needed to look at what my liver enzymes are. So what happens is when you're taking a statin to lower your cholesterol, your blood gets tweaked up. Hey, Logan, appreciate you coming on by, dude. Appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. But they need to adjust your liver enzymes so that you're not redlining your liver, trying to pull the excess cholesterol out of your bloodstream. And of course, that's literally what it is, because, your liver basically is pretty much a filter. You have your kidneys filtering blood, which obviously pulls out the waste products, becomes urine. Your liver filters stuff out, pulls it out, puts it into either your colon or puts it into other waste byproducts that then are excreted in other means. And that's one of the reasons why your liver is the first thing that gets hammered when you are a major drugger or you're a major drinker. All that stuff that needs to get pulled out of your bloodstream is being done by the liver. The liver is the primary filter in your body, besides a whole bunch of other jobs that it does. If you ain't got a liver, dude, you're dead duck. So anyway, I'll get back to that in a little while, but right off the bat, looking at stuff, my numbers are not bad at all. And truthfully, I hope that they continue to improve and look rather nice. Let me look over here to the chat room again. Unfortunately, because I am using the home computer for looking stuff up, and I'm looking at the laptop to run YouTube, so I'll be going that back forth thing. So give me 1 second here. Body aches, reduced lung capacity, burning up the freezing, no taste issues, lack of sleeping 2 to 4 hour blocks. I would say maybe, dude, you got yourself a really wicked case of the flu, but there's always the case of they need to test you. Unfortunately, trying to find testing facilities and people with the ability to have the test kits, they're few and far in between. Just give me 1 second. Got Java here, and I'm not going to let that get cold. Java. Mrs. Dude actually found one that was actually not too terrible bad. And you can ask anybody in the business. My coffee is always going to be at least a dark, preferably a French roast, man. I want that stuff to be like, I want it to be there. I don't want to basically drink brown water that kind of has slight coffee flavor. I want something that kicks my tail, and I go, oh yeah, that's Java. But yeah, Abram, what I would do, dude, is I would get eyeballed on that one. Definitely see a, if you have the ease of doing such in the proper insurance, just go and hit like one of the, the on the fly type of, health things where you basically go in and, you're not going to the emergency room, which is ridiculous. Don't do the emergency room. If you can go to like, the Express Cares or one of those guys, if you have the insurance that covers that, that way you're not getting hammered with the copay. And, obviously a doctor visit is going to be owie. Don't do that. Don't do that. So looking over here at the campfire, Nobody is in the campfire. Okay, well, solve that problem. I just put a whole bunch of stuff over here saying, Dude After Dark is going to be on YouTube only tonight. Rich's internet is foobar. So that's how that one rolls. So let's see. Cruising on over here. I'm basically looking at my Twitter yet again. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I posted this one up. Hang on a second. Let me scroll down a little bit here. I really, really had a lot of fun with this stuff. Let's see here. Today being 19th. Yeah, I can make that work. Okay, let me scroll on down here. Okay, I don't know if you guys caught this one or not. This one cracked me up. It takes balls to blow up your own stuff. Supposedly, Iran being Iran and Iran's Navy being Iran's Navy, it's not the sharpest set of knives in the drawer, man. Let me tell you what. So supposedly what happened is that Iran accidentally opened fire on one of their military ships. And first, the casualty report was like dozens of Iranian sailors reportedly dead. But supposedly what has happened is that on the date of the 10th, which I guess would be like, almost a week and a half ago, during a military drill, a C Charlie -802 missile was fired towards another Iranian naval destroyer, striking it and causing extensive damage. Some 40 naval service members were missing after the incident, local media outlets initially said, according to Haaretz. Iran's Fars semi-official news agency, meanwhile, said one person was killed and several injured during the naval exercise. Okay, what can you take from this? Number one, it is going to be Iran doing an OS moment, and I do mean OS hit moment when they go, holy crap. And I do mean like, holy crap, we just blasted one of our guys, and we didn't just blast them lightly, but we pretty much blew them out of the water. Oopsie. Yeah, like we accidentally really just yeah, we really, really heard it. Hang on a second. Let me get my speaker lined up here. I didn't even get to do that first. Hang on a second. Hang on. Okay. So basically, they lined up on them, and they really kind of. Yeah. Yeah, they pretty much did it to themselves on that one. How hard did they do it to themselves? Well, yeah. Yeah, I think they really did it to themselves. Yep, they did it to themselves. Good and proper. Hang on a second here. That rheostat's annoying. I gotta go in there with some contact cleaner. Okay. Anyway, they did it to themselves, and they did it most handily. Probably because they're not the best Navy, okay? They're cocky about it. Trust me on this one. The Iranian military is cocky. The Iranian military is not the Israeli military. They are not the IDF. They're not the IDF, Navy, Army, Air Force, Marine Corps, call it what you will. But they are not the IDF. They are way out of practice. And truthfully, there are a bunch of bully boys who tend to think that they are, but this is the kind of crap that they've been doing, where they basically like button heads with the U.S. Navy and the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy, or the IRGCN. Rolls right off the tongue. I bet it's even better when you start talking in like Persian, which is a designated terrorist organization. Increased last month when 11 Iranian gunboats swarmed a U.S. destroyer in the region. Well, if you kept up on your news, that's pretty much when Trump said, if you take any more aggressive action towards us and you keep jacking with my stuff, I am not going to hold back on them. I'm going to tell them simply just to, yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't even mess with me anymore because, well, we're just going to simply blow your ass out of the water. We're not going to worry about it because you're playing games with the wrong guys, and you're going to get it, okay? You're just really, really, really going to get it. We are not playing around with you anymore. And the next time you you're going to get it. Really get it. So anyway, basically, I tend to think that somewhere in between the meeting of the twain, between one guy dead and 40 guys dead, I tend to think it's 40 guys dead, and they got their asses handed to them by one of their own boats. Oops. And I do mean like mega oops. Like, you always want to have IFF, or, you basically identify friend or foe. You're not going to look across the horizon and go, yeah, that Iranian boat looks a hell of a lot more American than it used to. Let's just take it down. No, that's not. You're always going to know the position of your own stuff if you're a well-trained naval force. You always know the location of your guys. You always know the location of the other guys. And there's a reason why they have this, X amount of thousands of yards and tens of thousands of meters and how many miles. And because things happen really fast when you're in open ocean and you're both moving at about 20 miles an hour. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound like you're going very fast, but if you start talking about, 1,000-foot boat, 20 miles an hour, it's real easy to knock ends and really easy to scrape sides. And of course, it's one of those things where it's a lot of stuff that goes wrong, and boats don't steer like Ferraris. They just don't. Let's see. Going back through here. Testing center less than 5 minutes from me. I'd rather not get tested. Dude, get tested. Just be on the safe side. Would that be the Russian version of the Harpoon ASM? Dude, I don't know. I don't know missile systems that well, but sure, why not? I'd look it up on Jane's. If anybody would tell you, it would definitely be like Jane's, for like the hardcore naval guys. They know the naval stuff better than I ever will. I'm really not so much into like crew served or like, weapon systems on like shipboard stuff and Air Force versus Air Force and plane versus, air-to-air type of combat stuff. I'm really not up on that. I have like the most fragmentary of like knowledge base on that one, simply from just like osmosis of hearing about the things. If anything, I might know a few of our missile systems, but that's about it, man. And it's definitely going to be just a case of, I don't know. But yeah, considering the way that the Iranians buy stuff from pretty much anybody that will sell them crap, I would say probably it is a Russian system, if not a Chinese copy of a Russian system. Are they really a navy? Their boats are more for water skiers than attacking anyone. Oh, dude, I saw like one of the boats where they supposedly were like slapping mines on something and like holding stuff hostage. They were like small cabin cruisers, and I do mean like kind of like 22, maybe 27-foot boats where they basically have like a small cabin in the front, or maybe like a 30-foot boat or something. But I love the fact that they have like this Arabic or Persian name for like the boat class. It's like, you do realize that's like pretty much like a boat that people pretty much just go out and party on, right? Okay, well, all right, that's your Navy. Dude, that's a fiberglass hulled vessel that would get run flat by something moving over it at about 20 some odd knots. Yeah, it would be bounced off it like basically like a roadkill. Just give me 1 second here. Dead Java. Anyway, speaking of people throwing shots across your bow and getting stuff handed back to them, there was a press conference where Trump went very, very Reagan. I've been saying this, for time and eternal. He needs to do this more. Every time, and I do mean every effing, and I do mean EFEN, every effing time they act unprofessional, news guys, he needs to say, okay, well, thank you so much for coming up. I'll see you guys later. Bye. And he needs to just exit. Mr. President, Mr. President, and let them just toggle over each other and trying to get a word in edgewise. But when they start doing this snarky, well, China's not the cause of the virus. You're talking on both sides of your mouth, man. He needs to go, okay, thank you so much for coming. I'm going to be leaving now. I got stuff to do, and have a good day. That's what he needs to do. He needs to leave the room. Basically, he needs to leave the room. Why? Well, mostly because, he's Trump, okay? That's just how he is. He's just not going to take it, and he really, truly doesn't need to take it, and he needs to just roll out. He needs to leave them be. He needs to get out of the room and say, all right, that was cute. All right, I'm out of here. Hey, catch you guys next time. Because when you come right down to it, it's old when they start playing these games with him, and he just doesn't need to deal with it, okay? And there's a reason why he doesn't need to deal with it. Mostly because, well,
I got balls of steel.
That's number one. Yeah, that's a damn good reason. Because he's definitely
I got balls of steel.
Yeah, that's definitely Donald Trump. He's not going to take the crap. And I don't know if you guys have been watching the news, but supposedly he's taking the chloroquine now, where it is a preventative thing. And you talk to anybody who was taking, like, quinine back in the good old days to avoid getting the bougies from back in the good old days. There's a reason why they prescribed the troops to take quinine. It's so you didn't get the bad disease from all the mosquitoes swarming all over you that you couldn't stop. The SS. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, jeez. We've gone full on. Oh, Anti-shipping missile used by the LA-class SSN ships and aircraft. The Argentinian learned about them back in the Falklands War. Yeah, well, the Argentinians got their asses handed to them by the Brits. That was not a pretty thing because the Brits basically finally said, enough of this playing with the colonies. Yeah. The Falklands was just a huge mess up anyway on both sides. I think when it came right down to it, both sides were finally like, yeah, we probably should just stop fighting and blowing up each other's stuff because this is getting stupid. It wasn't like anybody was winning. It was just more a case of just attrition. We're breaking each other's things. And that's kind of not fun anymore. Let's just stop. Yeah, the Falklands, the best thing I could say about the Falklands was they finally got a chance to play with a V-stall aircraft, and they were bringing their jump jet in there to kind of hover and blow stuff up and kind of play around. And, the Harrier was used to great effect back in the Falklands. Look it up, man. It was a really interesting utilization of a V-stall aircraft. Oh, kind of like that new aircraft we had that cost way too much money and can actually hover. And no, I'm not really a fan of hovering jets, okay? Main reason why a jet aircraft is a jet aircraft is because it's supposed to be freaking fast. It's not supposed to go, okay, here's a ship and land. No, that's a helicopter, okay? Yeah, it makes it really cool that you can land a jet vertically, but there's so much technology involved, and you give away so much other stuff to try to make a jet do something that it's not. A jet is not a helicopter, okay? Yeah, you can make a helicopter fly pretty freaking fast, but it's also not a jet. You're trying to make a Mack truck a Lamborghini. It's not going to happen. Physics will always beat you down. Let's see. Okay, I'm catching up on my stuff in the chat room here. Okay, so anyway, but yeah, Trump needs to stop pissing with these guys. Every time they get snarky, he needs to go, thank you so much for coming, and I got to go, bye. Like that whole thing where, Reagan was infamous for that stuff. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Oh, okay, well, have a nice day. Out the door he would go. I mean, the classic one that you always saw with Reagan was like he's walking the tarmac and he's heading to the plane. And there's Sam Donaldson, Mr. President, oh, Mr. President. And Reagan was way the hell away from Air Force One. Air Force One, I think, was ticking on its APC. So, it's auxiliary power. Basically, the micro jet engine that's in the tail of the plane that keeps everything going because it's a generator. And that thing was pointing the other direction. So you can hear a little bit of a whistle in the background. But Donaldson is going, Mr. President. And he's going, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Huh? What? I got to go now. Goodbye. And, literally, that's the way that Reagan handled the news guys, is if he didn't want to answer questions, he just said, I can't hear you, man. I'm sorry. I'll catch you later, though. Have a good day. That's what Trump needs to do. Every effing time. Bye. You're being snarky. I'm not dealing with your BS anymore. And I'm not going to go head to head with you because I don't have to. We're done here. Here's my press statement. Piss off. I don't know if you caught this or not, but this is looking really not good for some people in various areas to be reelected. There's been two very blue areas. Well, obviously, Logan can see the news on that one, but Abrams has been seeing it happening in California where blue areas are turning red. Like there's been two people elected recently. One of them in California, which was a hugely predominantly blue area, has just switched red with a representative. Pelosi was looking not real happy having to swear in 2 new Republicans. Oh, she is not content about this one. She's wearing her little goofy mask and trying to look all, I'll be in charge here. No. The line of attrition is starting to grow wider. Speaking of Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, got an appropriate sound effect for her. Let me take a snoop here real fast. AOC. Oh, yeah, AOC. Anybody home? AOC. Oh, AOC. Oh, there's nobody home. Yeah, she's just she's just not there. Why? Because you look in one ear and you're just looking out the other side, and it's like a projection from one ear to the other. You have something shining on the wall, and all you're hearing is it's not a lot going on between the ears and AOC. Not the smartest one in the group. But she's been removed from a union-backed Progressive Party ballot line in New York. That's not good. But the Progressive Union-backed Working Families Party, WFP, ballot line by the Queen's judge, a blow to her potentially competitive Democratic primary fight. The freshman lawmaker was removed from the primary ballot after receiving only 13 signatures from members of the progressive group that has dubbed itself the Tea Party of the Left. Too short of what she needed to get on the ballot. Hang on a second here. Yeah, it's not sounding good. Okay, she's also, let me just read my text here and clean it up a little bit. I guess even Bronx, New York is officially sick of her. She chased off Amazon, cost 30,000 new jobs, and potentially tens of millions of tax influx into a seriously jacked up area of New York. Safe to say, she's hosed. Bye-bye, AOC. I'm seeing her having a very, very hard run uphill to even try to beat another Democrat getting on the primary side of things, let alone the area flipping over blue. But it's the Bronx, man. My brothers, man. Oh, my brothers. My brothers sometimes really, truly are trying when we get political because they are so inundated with everything sucks because of Trump mindset. It's like, you do realize that, all these guys are doing stuff locally, have been doing this stuff forever. You keep electing them, so they're going to continue doing it to you. That's not Trump. That's you electing the wrong guys who keep hosing you day in and day out, and you're asking for more like a rape victim with, a bad case of victim status going, yeah, man, keep kicking my butt. That's exactly what I need to have happen because that's what I'm used to. I don't understand him. I really, truly don't. Supposedly, I don't know why this took so freaking long to have happen, except for the fact that maybe the finances are such is that people don't understand how Apple became a $1 trillion company. When you make a phone that costs maybe $180 to $200 and you sell it for $1,000, even with all the overhead and everything else that you have to contend with, there's a reason why they are hugely, hugely, hugely profitable. Well, that's the thing about it is that Apple is now planning to move a significant amount of their production from China to India. Now, I would have really no problem with building up India, mostly because I rather like the Indians. If you talk to any person who's a Hindu or you speak to any other person like Mumbai or the Sikhs or any of those other guys, they're basically decent people. They tend to be very liberal, but they are decent people. They tend to be very open in the regard of helping your fellow man. Their food is great. And I love Indian food. Maybe not the healthiest thing on the planet in some instances, but good stuff. And I love Indian food. But for them to move their manufacturing base from China to India, I would rather see 1 billion plus Indians enriching themselves, building iPhones and building up their social structure, as opposed to the Chinese who have this long-running mindset. And this is the problem that most people don't understand. When we plan something, we maybe plan for a few years to maybe a decade. Maybe. We're really, really short-sighted in that regard. The Chinese plan for hundreds of years, not just like down the road 5 years. They're thinking like hundreds of years down the road. And the thing about it is the way they do stuff is they will steal your intellectual property. They will make crappy products and try to sell you crappy products saying, oh, no, the whole shipment is great. There's only a few of them that's broken. Only when you hold them to task and make them produce something that's a quality piece do you get something that's actually quality. That said, I'm still hanging on my Samsung, man. I am not going to buy anything Apple anytime soon, mostly because I'm not crazy about the OS. I'm not crazy about all the backwards engineering that they tend to do to snoop on you, all the batteries that kind of just really aren't the best batteries. Technology is what it is. And, those things that you need to be able to intersect with your own personal beliefs or turn on and off for those things that you want to not work, it's pretty much easier with an Android device versus an iPhone. Yes, iPhones are so secure and all the rest of that stuff. Yeah, that's right. The Israelis cracked one and got the information after the guy failed to give them the information to unlock the phone for some kind of terrorist plot or some BS like that. But anyway, I would rather see India enrich themselves than China continue to enrich themselves with all their aggressive moves they're doing now in the China Sea, threatening Japan, threatening Korea, threatening all these other areas, and that's the other thing too, is also you have to understand the geography of it as such is that North Korea is basically like the bottom point of the triangle between Russia and China. It's literally right there. Of course, Japan being only 120 miles offshore of Russia, if that, 80 miles away from us in Alaska, and the Aleutians and what have you. There's a lot of reasons why I would rather see India profit than China. Mostly because the Chinese are just buttholes, and I'm trying to keep it clean. I cannot begin to tell you how much this does crack me up going back to AOC again. I cannot help but use this classic soundbite. No, he's not retarded. But yeah, AOC has been tapped by Joe Biden to lead the campaign's climate change task force. No, he's not retarded. Holy crap. I got to get that soundbite, put it in my sound files. I'm sure Sound Guy would have fun with that one. But yeah, it's one of those classic things where, oh, man, you hear Biden doing these things, and you're like, dude, no, serious? He does it. He really does it. Everyone's going in there. I have a friend from Old Delhi. He's Hindu, very anti-commie, and took out 3 poachers with an Ishapur Enfield. Sounds like a good egg. And yeah, the Hindus are cool, man. My actual my cardiologist is Hindu. We were speaking about it earlier, and I'm like, you're vegetarian, right? He goes, well, or you're vegan, right? He goes, no, I'm vegetarian. It's like, oh, okay, cool. He goes, every once in a while I'll cheat and have a little chicken, but my children were raised vegetarian. They really don't want meat. It's very healthy, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, you guys got it down to a science, man. Your vegetarian stuff is great. And I've had Indian vegetarian food, and it is, slap nuts awesome. I would eat that, no problem. Maybe not miss the meat too much, but yeah, it's good shiznit. Let's see. Indian filled a massive soccer stadium to see Trump back. Oh, dude, yeah. That was really, really, really cool. The Indians and I forget their grand guy, the president or the leader, political leader of the country. Him and Trump going back and forth, Trump speaking English, of course, obviously with translation services, and the Indian leader, I think, speaking like one of the major dialects or some such. But it was absolutely epic. Those guys were like, we like him. He's cool, man. He can work with us. So yeah, man, I definitely see it as an awesome, awesome relationship. If nothing else, the Indians are definitely our friends. The Pakistanis need to stop being such troublemakers. I mean, if they would just chill out and work more with the Indians, they also could see their country doing awesome stuff. The biggest problem with the border between those two is the Pakistanis have this huge stretch of area that's like lush, green, not bad to be in. The Indian side is freaking desert, man. You do not want to have a military base there. It is absolutely some of the worst areas in which to place your guys. The Pakistanis on their side is kind of like, yeah, we're in Sherwood Forest. It's not so bad here. The Indian side, they're just sitting out there and just broiling like lizards out in the middle of the desert. So that's one of the biggest problems I have right there. Yeah, Prime Minister Modi. I saw that speech, man. He was, and I saw the translation, subtitles. I'm not afraid of reading subtitles. Very, very awesome get together. And I thought it was really, really cool to see like those two societies just going, yep, boop. So yeah, good stuff, man. I like the Indian guys. And I've always liked the fact that they're just good people. I have not an issue with the Indians whatsoever. I just wish the Pakistanis make their act together. That's the only thing that really sucks in that region. Pretty much also is the fact that there's been such a revelation and a just complete societal switchover in India where the caste structure has kind of gotten knocked down quite a bit more. And like you go to Mumbai, and that place is like going to like New York. I mean, it's literally like, Toronto. It's a major metropolitan area now. It's like all kinds of businesses there and all kinds of areas in which to get stuff to eat and all kinds of like, just very, very cosmopolitan now. I mean, it's like almost going to like Salt Lake City or Toronto or New York or, major cities like that where it's very, very intermixed. I mean, I've heard like years ago where somebody was like, yeah, man, you want to make a mint? Set up a Starbucks over in Mumbai. Within 10 years, you'll be rich. And that's exactly the case, man. Those things are slamming. And I'm talking like just any generic, like American food place that you can tweak and make like work with them. Of course, obviously you have Hindus don't eat beef. Well, you go to their McDonald's and their Big Mac is something called a Grand Maharaja or Great Maharaja or something like that. But it's like this massive burger thing from hell where it's using 2 chicken patties. And I'll tell you what, man, that thing looks effing great because they don't take a bag of vegetables and go, they actually are in the back cutting up the vegetables. So everything going on these things are absolutely fresh. That's the way McDonald's should be doing stuff, but they unfortunately will not do that ever in the United States because we're used to eating crap. Grand Maharaja or something. Yeah, Grand Maharaja or something like that. That's what they call it. The Indian Army has a fire base of over 15,000 feet on a glacier. They're like the Hindu guys, I guess, from like wanting to be like Gurkhas. But yeah, that's. I would not want that duty station. 15K, man. Ugh. That is not cool stuff. All right, so anyway, go back to AOC. Biden revealed on May 12 that AOC is teaming up with the Biden campaign to promote her new Green New Deal, according to the Blaze. Wasn't the Green New Deal kind of like just dead? I thought that thing had pretty much died a violent death, and nobody was really wanting it anymore. I mean, the Green New Deal, yeah, it's nobody really wants to stomach the Green New Deal anymore. Yeah, I mean, people hear that thing and yeah, they're just they're not wanting to hear anything Green New Deal. So pretty much that's what's going on with that one. It's not a good thing. But anyway, yeah, supposedly Biden revealed the news in Las Vegas. I read some of these quotes. And it's just hilarious. As CNN reported, AOC will, quote, co-chair a task force, end quote, for the Biden campaign. The move is intended to add, quote, progressive credentials to the former vice president's efforts to unify the party ahead of the general election, end quote. Man, that's like herding cats. That's really all I got to say about that one. That's like herding freaking cats because really, AOC is not anybody's favorite right now. Holy crap, man. Let's see. Scrolly. Oh, that's who it was. Mike Garcia won the House race in California. Special election in California's 25th congressional district. That's got to be hugely blue. That's the only thing I can say about that one. That has to be hugely blue. This one I thought was kind of hilarious. Supposedly, de Blasio and Cuomo, and that's like cussing, man. It really is like those words just come off my tongue, and I just feel dirty after saying them. But the number of coronavirus-related deaths in New York City recently crossed the 20,000 milestone. Or has it? This is quoting off SarahPalin.com. Why? Well, it's a pretty good website in that regard, and also they tend to be fairly guarded in terms of their investigation. So supposedly they're reporting only in a city of 8 million people in Manhattan alone, only 14,380 deaths across the entire state, including New York City, a difference of nearly 6,000 people when they said the number was supposed to be 20,316 confirmed or probable deaths. Okay, well, let's put this in perspective. New York City, I think if I remember the numbers right, it's like just through sheer osmosis, it's like 86 to like 100 some odd people die a day. Just like, dude walking down the street and, just falls over, pops a gasket. Somebody else walking across the street, beep, beep, cab, bus, train, unfortunate, victims of stupid circumstance, falling down the elevator shaft, falling off the balcony, smoking the wrong kind of medication, inhaling the wrong kind of medication, doing the wrong kind of medication, doing too much of the wrong kind of medication, drinking too much of the wrong kind of medication. Check block under D, all the above. People die, okay? You're not going to simply say that every single person in New York City that dies is a victim of coronavirus. Not going to happen. Mostly because it's fake. Oh, man, it's fake, all right? So Cuomo is operating and making policy decisions on the lower figure, even though he admits the real figure is likely higher. Which is it, okay? Quote, I think we're going to find when all is said and done that the numbers are much different than what we actually thought they were, end quote. He said last week per Politico. Politico is lying a-hole libtards. Quote, and I think it's going to be worse when the final numbers are tallied. We're also not fully documenting all the at-home deaths that may be attributable to COVID-19, so I think the reality is actually going to be worse. Translation, I think, maybe, perchance. Oh, I get my opinion about this. I'm not a professional, but I'm actually a guy that tries to act like one. Yeah. So Politico adds, officials did not account for the holdup. State Health Department spokesman Jonah Bruno said the state currently relies on fatality data reported by hospitals, nursing homes, and other facilities. Other only includes confirmed COVID-19 deaths in its fatality tracker. Okay, old guys in old folks' homes. You drive by them every single day. Here comes the boneyard truck because it's trucking people out because old people die. All right? Sorry, old people kick off. That's just how it is. You're not going to really have a case where you have a bunch of old people all sitting around and everybody's going to be great because nobody's ever going to kick off because everything's going to be fine and nobody is ever going to... By snoo-snoo. No, sound guy, it is not death by snoo-snoo, okay? No, they're not doing that. No. Right, exactly. It's not death by snoo-snoo, okay? No. No, there's none of that going on either, dude. No, not in the old folks' home, all right? Exactly. There's none of that going on, all right? There is no... Death by snoo-snoo. There is no death by snoo-snoo. Stop that. None of that at all, okay? No. Oh, no, not grandma. Oh, that's just wrong. Oh, you. Quote, in certain circumstances, people weren't tested. Tests weren't available. The tests have known false negatives. Sally Aiken said, I don't know why they wouldn't count probables. Mostly because it's a probable and you don't know for sure that it is. Wow. Even beyond the more than 20,000 COVID-19 deaths tallied by de Blasio administration, the number of deaths in the city was 5,300 above normal levels from March 11 to March 2. What does that sound like? They are lying. Holy crap. They may also include people who died from other causes, like heart disease or strokes, or delayed seeking help because of fear of contagion, or did not get the care they needed because hospitals in the 9/11 system was overwhelmed. Oopsie. Maybe you're saying everybody's got this COVID-19 thing, and normal, actual, average death read like cancer, heart disease, and other things that kick people off because it's normal stuff, you are throwing either into the mix or you're kicking them out of the availability to receive care when they need it. But if you're getting a number that's 5,300 above normal levels, one, there's people who are falling down all over the place from this disease, or two, you're lying your freaking asses off. That's how that one works. Let's see. Scrolly. I don't know where they got this one, and I really, truly cannot do anything except for simply just tell you guys for what it is. But holy crap. And I do mean holy crap. This is going on about Maryland restaurant owner can't get employees to return because they make more in unemployment. Okay, that should never, ever happen. Unemployment should not be like a replacement for employment. You shouldn't have people going, yeah, man, I make $450 a week working at this restaurant. It really sucks. I hate my boss. The hours are bad. Man, it's really just total drudgery. Ooh, I get $600 a week sitting at home and doing nothing. Never should happen. But here's the thing. The picture they posted was not what they were talking about in the story. In the story, they're talking about a place called Charles Village Pub and Patio in Towson. Now, if you guys know Baltimore, the Towson area is a fairly affluent, and I do mean like not poor area of Baltimore. So if you go on the Baltimore Beltway, it's going to be 12 o'clock. Like you're going straight out of the city, you're going straight north, cock over just slightly, York Road, Towson area. There's like 4 well-to-do, if not 5 well-to-do colleges in that area. There is a big mall, and I do mean the mall that is very profitable. The mall actually can stand by itself. It is very well traveled. It has a lot of stores in there. It is a very well-received area. In that area is a Lexus dealer, a BMW dealer, and also a used car lot that I always see full of like Cadillacs and other like well-to-do cars. Okay. It is not a broke-ass area. As a matter of fact, that place is one of the few areas in Baltimore that has a 24/7 McDonald's that is always cranking because starving college students, even if they're rich, like to eat mac and trash. But the funny thing about it is they're talking about this story where the kids don't want to come back to work because they're not making enough money. Well, if you're working in a restaurant in Towson, you better be making a pretty good amount of coin because you're not making enough money to live in Towson. Or you're a college student who is making a couple bucks on the side because obviously your parents aren't rich enough to supply you with enough funds to live on because, well, they're spending their entire savings worth to allow you to go to school in Towson. But the picture that they posted up was in Ocean City. Now, if you know the area of Ocean City in Maryland, it is nowhere near Baltimore. And actually, it's about 120 miles away because you got to go down and you got to go east to the eastern shore. So literally, Ocean City is an area that you're looking at the Atlantic Ocean and you are like just below Delaware and you're like directly across from Virginia, a little ways, a little bit kind of like in that cusp of things, because there's an actual peninsula that pokes down and they refer to that as the Delmarva Peninsula. So Delaware, Virginia, Maryland, Delmarva Peninsula. So it's those 3 states all kind of coming to a point together. Delaware, of course, being straight up, Maryland being across, Virginia being slightly south. So the picture they posted up in this story was Ocean City, not Towson. So they have a major amount of confusion going on there. And this was Newsweek.com that did this. So if Newsweek can't even get correct 2 cities that are 120 miles apart, what else are they getting wrong? Oops. And the other thing, too, is also Ocean City is seasonal. The people that actually live in Delaware, and we have a couple family members that emigrated from Maryland and retired in Delaware just because it's so much better in terms of tax load and stuff. But those people who are the 24/7 people who live in like Delaware and that, the eastern shore side of Maryland, one off the eastern shore side of Maryland is pretty conservative. They're very red. They are not like the areas like closer to DC. But those areas are seasonal. As a matter of fact, they say usually like 6 months out of the year, they don't even go to the ocean side. They're like, this is our side of the state, that's their side of the state, and they can stay there because during that part of the year, it becomes like Key West. It becomes like Fort Lauderdale. And they don't want to be there because it is way too many people who normally don't live there, and they hang out there and they trash the place. And of course, you have drunk a-holes basically puking everywhere and peeing in public and, stupid stuff that drunk, high, moronic people do when they're on quote unquote spring break. Woo! Yeah. So that's what they do over there. All right. So scrolly. This one's dated on the 15th. Pelosi's offered a deal on a $3 trillion spending bill. Do they have any idea how much this country makes per year? The GDP on this nation is about $1 trillion a year. So we were in the hole like $2 trillion, 2.5 trillion, whatever it is, and they want to spend another $3 trillion. So $5.5 trillion, or 1/4 of the earnings of this nation per year, pissed down a rat hole. And they just want to basically take this cash and throw it away. So pretty much what Trump already said is dead on arrival. Don't even try it. Not going to happen. The Republicans have said we're not going for it. Dead on arrival. So now she's not happy, and of course she wants way more bailouts. They want to pick up a ton of cash. But that's the other thing too, is also the way that liberals and Democrats launder money is they take the money and they send it to local areas who then expend those funds, grants, call them what you will, on programs that they really truly want to do in the first place, but they just don't have the ability to sucker the population. So they take the money from the main group of liberals in Congress and Senate, and they throw it back to the states where these guys could piss it down a rat hole on all these pet projects. It's not hard to see how these guys do stuff. All you got to do is watch them for about 30 seconds and you know everything they're going to do. This one's coming from the Federalist. This is about, of course, Pelosi galore, because, well, she is Pelosi galore. So let's see. Hang on a second here. It's being weird. Pelosi galore. Federalist, it's a $3 trillion coronavirus spending wish list is another embarrassing farce. This is, of course, dated from March 13. The bill is initially dubbed CARES 2 Act and was rapidly renamed HEROES Act. Yeah, as if it was heroic to dump other people's money out the window after taking it at gunpoint. It's the attempt to snooker gullible Republicans. Okay, if the Republicans vote for this, they're just idiots and they deserve to lose their seats. Governors of states like New Jersey and Illinois appear to be hoarding coronavirus money that Congress has already sent. Okay, that's part of the problem. If they don't spend the money, give it back. Congress is fumbling oversight over the $3.6 trillion that's already thrown at the coronavirus. Taxpayers in more fiscally responsible states don't owe spendthrift states one penny, and no new money should be sent anywhere it won't be used honestly. No kidding. No kidding. But they say the bill is a farce. The spending is just like insane. Democrats really trying to throw money at everything, and they think it's going to fix the problem. Way more legislation is going to fix the problem. None of this stuff really truly works, and they've been doing it forever, and it needs to stop. Let's see. Looking at the comments here. Okay. Oh yeah, the British aircraft. Yeah, but okay. I was like looking at it going, Vulcans, that's a cannon, that's not a plane. Yeah, the Brits in their thing for naming planes strange names and ships strange names. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but first Montgomery Ward's, then Sears, and now we're looking at the final, bailing out or death knell. And you know what? Let's just call it what it is. It's the final death knells of your standard mall, because right now JCPenney is planning to file for bankruptcy as early as Friday. This being posted up on May 14. Let's see, I got a bunch of stupid pop-ups here. I really hate when these websites do this stupid thing like, boom, do you really want this in your thing? Say no. JCPenney's advisors are currently working on a bankruptcy filing that could come early Friday morning. People familiar with the situation tell CNBC they caution there's still a chance the final negotiations between the retailer and its lenders spill to the weekend and delay the filing. I don't see that happening. I see pretty much JCPenney going the same way as Sears, mostly because the only time people really tend to go to JCPenney is if there's like a huge sale, and it really has been like propping up the malls. People really don't, and I do mean people as in like the 20-somethings, the millennials and whatnot. They really don't go to malls. They're not mall rats like, we used to be back when, the millennials used to do stuff like, they really don't do it nearly as much, and it's not cool anymore. Now it's just better simply just go and do Amazon or go on, eBay or other websites or, easier stuff. You get the stuff delivered to you. And I tend to see this when it's like the third brick in the wall about ready to fall over. But they say JCPenney employs roughly 90,000 full-time, part-time employees as of February. It's working on a plan that would contemplate closing 180 to 200 stores in bankruptcy. The retailer has 846 department stores as of February. The Plano, Texas-based retailer is planning on filing a bankruptcy in Corpus Christi, Texas. It's been negotiating with its first lien lenders for a $450 million loan to finance the bankruptcy, which would require the troubled retailer to hit certain goals to receive the second half of it. Well, if it's already kind of circling the drain, it's kind of like what Sears tried to do. Is they're like, well, we have all this great property, and yeah, it's great property that nobody wants. Who wants a huge Sears store in the middle of a mall that's already circling the drain and get ready to go bankrupt? Doesn't really do anything all that great, pretty much because nobody's going there. You're not making any money, okay? You basically got all this great property. It's not like Walmart's going to go, yeah, we'll pick up this Sears location and that Sears location and this Sears location. Mostly because the Sears is over here, the Walmart is over here, and the Walmart's like, geographically, it doesn't do anything for us. We don't need another store like within a mile and a half of our other store. Walmarts are not like 7-Elevens. They don't need to be on every single street corner. Let's see. Because it's working so quickly to finalize the bankruptcy documents, it may not get them all done in time to draw from the initial funds to its first day in bankruptcy. As such, it may need to wait until June 2 for a court hearing to begin drawing from the loan. People requested anonymity because the information is confidential. A spokesperson for JCPenney declined to comment. No, they're pretty much screwed. They know they're screwed, and everybody is like, I'm not saying anything because they're going to basically fire me before I need to get my final checks out the door. Yeah. So anyway, they say they're going to follow department store Neiman Marcus and Stage stores as victims of the pandemic, which has forced their doors shut, but whose ailments far predated the virus. Okay, this is stuff that you should have seen happening. JCPenney needed to get out of those 800 stores that weren't quite so profitable. They needed to consolidate their debt. They needed to consolidate their expenditure because every single one of those 846 stores that they don't own the property on, they are paying rent. They don't see it like Sears did. Oh, no, Sears didn't pay running every one of these pieces of property because they owned them all. Okay, it owned them. Well, who was going to shop there? Nobody. So they basically were paying to own a warehouse, and they were paying taxes on a warehouse with all the stock inside they were paying tax on. Everything in there cost them money. Sears and JCPenney has fallen annually since 2016. Duh! Its roughly 846 store footprint is less than a quarter of the store base in 2001 and has nearly $11 billion in sales the last fiscal year, almost a third of its sales that year. Oh, sorry, I read it wrong. And it's nearly $11 billion in sales. The last fiscal year was almost a third of its sales that year. Yeah. Okay, well, dates back to 1913. 34 stores, rural America, blah, 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 but worked based up to 1,000 stores. Then, of course, they got hammered by the Great Depression. Set its sights in the 1960s, spreading out. By 94, but the retailer had $20.4 billion in retail sales with a net income nearing $1 billion. So, in other words, they were making a profit of $1 billion. Later years has struggled to compete against Walmart's rise. No kidding. As a department store, never quite caught up with Macy's. Well, look at where Macy's is now. When activist investor Bill Ackman disclosed a stake in the company in 2010, he believed it could cement the retailer's role as a department store power player. Nah. Ackman joined the board, brought in Ron Johnson, and previously oversaw Apple's retail division as a CEO. Many of Johnson's and Ackman's ideas, like creating a store within a store concept, proved visionary, but they were rolled out too quickly, analysts said at the time. Customers abandoned the retailer. JCPenney reported nearly $1 billion loss after Ron Johnson's first full year in the role. Translation, he wasn't nearly as cool as you thought he was. Yeah, but he stepped out, and JCPenney took out a $2.25 billion loan to shore up its finances. Not wise. Not wise at all. Over the next decade, JCPenney has fought to stabilize the balance sheet, all the while competing with changes in shopping behaviors. Americans abandoned the mall. Hello? Yeah, kind of like what I've been saying. Who shops in the mall anymore? Not millennials. not the kids who are younger. They don't do it. They just don't do it, okay? Do they go? No, they don't go. They go, hey, man, why are we going to go to the mall? We don't need to go to the King Mall. We can go other places. Yeah, so that's what they do. JCPenney's circling the drain. Bye-bye. Never really shopped there. I think Mrs. Dude said she went there for like a few dresses, and that's pretty much about it. Let's see. This is our feel-good story of the day. It's just the thing that sucks is this is so sad. It's just basically emblematic of what it is. Okay, and of course Twitter doesn't like the fact that this basically tells a story they don't like. So they said link may be unsafe. Okay, so let me see if I can't get this thing to work here. Canadian leftists were killed after traveling to Muslim countries to prove, quote, Islam is a religion of peace, end quote. The left refuses. This is from freepressfont.com. The left refuses to recognize the fact that the Middle East is on fire of an ideological war of radical Islam against the rest of humanity. Oh, jeez. So basically what happened is these two girls decided it was going to be so cool. Let's go show everybody how wrong they are about the religion of peace. They went over there and they said, hi, we're stupid white liberals. And they said, yeah, that's nice, hack. You're also chicks. We don't care what you have to say. You're the infidel. You're a female. We have nothing to say to you except you're our bitch. Literally, you're our bitch. Wow. Speaking of another group of leftards who are getting it handed to them. Now, hang on a second. Let's get the appropriate sound effect here. Another group of leftards who are getting appropriately... Yeah. We're talking about nobody else other than...
Death by Snoo Snoo.
No, sound guy. They're not getting death by Snoo Snoo. They are getting... They are most definitely getting... They're getting it hard and fast. We're talking about Vice News, vicenews.com, laid off 55 employees in the United States and 100 internationally. The media company confirmed to the Hill. I want you to know we've done absolutely everything we could to protect these positions for as long as possible, and your time and contributions will ever be part of who we are and what we will become. Vice CEO Nancy Dubnick sent an email to staff on Friday. Translation. They basically saved $9.3 million a year by duffing 155 people. Plus. I don't know how much they were making. That was saying like 50, 60K a piece. They just lost 9.3 in dross. We have stupid people. Logan and Abrams are going back and forth in the chat room. Sometimes I see some fun stuff. So anyway, what happened is they tweeted Friday morning, and Hope Management will consider alternatives to layoffs or furloughs. I don't think so. No. This is coming from thehill.com. I had to jump links on that one. No, they're getting fudged. We understand the entire news industry is hurting, end quote. The statement read. Quote, we do not understand why Vice chose to lay off so many of our colleagues in the middle of a global pandemic instead of exhausting all options to avoid this loss. End quote. It's because you cost too much. That's why. It's because you cost too much. Several other major news media outlets have laid off staff, such as BuzzFeed News, another leftist organization, which furloughed 14 staffers this week. Last month, dozens were let go at CQ Roll Call, another leftist organization. An outlet was focused on reporting on the nation's capital. The loss in the media industry comes as advertisers seek to pull out of contracts. The Wall Street Journal reported this week that major brands are seeking to pull as much as 50% of their ads from major networks. In related story, Google is very, very unhappy because a lot of their ads are Google ads. Speaking of, yeah, they're getting fudge packed too. See, scrolly. Oh my! I cannot begin to tell you how completely inappropriate this was for Joe Biden to say. But they're like, dude, stop saying that word.
I would get much more engaged in the world. We can't step back. If, in fact, for example, we solve the problem in the United States of America and you don't solve it in other parts of the world, you know what's going to happen. You're going to have travel bans. You're going to not be able to have economic intercourse around the world. There's
whoa. You're talking about what kind?
Economic intercourse around.
He's talking about economic intercourse. Joe, stop. The whole time he was talking, he was like, yeah, economic intercourse. You got to be really careful of economic intercourse. Joe, stop that. Yeah. I think he was probably thinking about something else when he was talking about
economic intercourse around.
Joe, stop using that phrase, dude. Stop. Just stop. Okay? Wow. Stop. Don't say that word or those words. Any words. Don't talk. Oh, man. On that note, I think we're coming up on the 10 o'clock time period. I got a bunch more stuff, but you know what? It's Joe Biden talking about economic, No, sound guy, he wasn't talking about that at all. Not that. He was talking about economic, well, maybe something different, but he was talking about economic,
death by Snoo Snoo.
No, it was not economic death by Snoo Snoo, okay? Not at all. It was economic. Dude, no, it was not economic. And I did that one. Stop it, sound guy. Stop, okay?
You're despicable.
Oh, on that one, we definitely agree. He's definitely, yeah. He's a real bite to the bag. I'll tell you that for sure. Yeah. Oh, Joe Biden talking to, hey, let's see if anybody really is not offended. Yep. Because he's talking about economic intercourse. Oh, dude. Joe, stop. Just stop, okay? Just stop. Wow. Well, United Fruit did rape South America. What? United Fruit, South America. Abram, you got to clear that one up, dude. I don't know what you mean. But anyway, but yeah, anytime that Joe Biden is talking about I-word anything, he's creepy, folks. Okay? Quite. All right, folks, so coming up with this one, coming on 10 o'clock time period. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. You get a gold star for attendance. Do be sure to check us out. We'll be, of course, back on Around the Cabin. The major issue, of course, was Rich just lost internet. I mean, he texted me on Facebook, and he's like, dude, no show tonight. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? He's like, the storm knocked out my internet. I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, I'm using my phone to talk to you now. I'm going back inside. So obviously the weather was getting bad, and he was like, here, let me use my phone to talk to you. So he was giving me a heads up on that one. And of course, I had to respond thusly and let you guys know. And of course, I'm not going to hold off on this one because I can archive stuff on YouTube. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to save the chat this time. I think there's like a setting where I just don't proceed. I think what happens is if I don't, edit this or do like an additional step, if I just simply just end it, hopefully it keeps the chat in there so you guys can reference in there. And I've seen people save live feeds before where, the chat stays up in place. So far, I haven't been that lucky. So I'm going to try it different this time and say the live chat stays up in place. So your Q&A is now in place and we can go back and forth. And of course, correspondingly thus, things will be up in place. Okay. So aroundthecabin.com/campfire is going to be the live cast on Around the Cabin. Failing that, you can also find them on Around the Cabin on Facebook. Around the Cabin News, Around the Cabin Food, Around the Cabin Buy, Sell, and Trade, Around the Cabin School of Self-Reliance, Around the Gardens Gate, and Around the Cabin Medicinal Cannabis. All that good stuff like that there. You can find me on Twitter as 80spcc. Of course, you see me here on YouTube as 80s Podcast Channel. I appreciate all your kind attention. You guys hanging out with me tonight. I know you got many other things to do, many other places to check out on a Tuesday, but you guys hanging out with me, so I appreciate your kind attentions and good stuff like that there. You guys are hanging out with me and, well, good stuff. So I'm always appreciative of anybody hanging out with me and checking out my stuff. So thank you. Catch you guys later. Eat good, keep tendering as always. You know what, you love it. And we find the appropriate mouse because I got two mice running here, one for the home computer, one for the the laptop. So anyway, let me break out with this one. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I'm gonna break out with this one. Eat good, keep tendering as always. You know what, you love it. And well, have a good week. And there's a stupid button that. Hang on a second here. I think my mouse died. All right, well, I can still use the trackpad. That still works. Catch you guys later. Have a good night, and see you then. See you. British.